47 seats is where the Bharatiya Janata Party is leading. 22 is the number of seats where the Aam Aadmi Party is leading. The Congress still seems to be leading in one of those seats. These are numbers which are as part of the first and the second round of counting. There are still many more rounds of counting that still need to go. But the way things seem to be shaping up for the BJP, the mood that we saw the BJP's office there, they seem to be fairly cautious because these numbers can still change. Yes. Although the possibility of that happening is slimming down because more and more number of votes get counted, this figure will get solidified. But what we are looking at is a huge change in terms of how politics in Delhi will be played. Because the voter in Delhi seem to have brought into this idea of a double-engine sarkar, where you have the government in the centre, which is of the BJP, and even for the Delhi Assembly, the people at this time seem to have favoured, the Bharatiya Janata Party. And, it's going to be interesting as to how this entire election result will be assessed. But Ms. Fadnis, if I can bring you in on this, the fact that Narendra Modi, he played a major role for the BJP in this election. There was no chief ministerial face that the BJP had formally put out, but the fact that he was effectively running this election on Modi ki guarantee, has that now breached the fortress of the Aam Aadmi Party?
Well, there's that, of course, and there's also the hard work that was put in by people like Bajayant Panda, who's the vice president of the BJP, national vice president, and also in charge of the campaign. BJP decentralizes responsibilities, and Bajayant Panda was charged with the responsibility of running the election. So it's a big victory for him. He was very confident that the BJP will not only get simple, but will get 2/3 majority. Right. It seems to be heading that way. But there is an interesting challenge that is going to come up in the coming days. If the BJP does indeed get the kind of majority it is heading for, it will be facing an Aam Aadmi Party, a very resurgent and aggressive Aam Aadmi Party in the MCD.
Right.
So the tables will be turned. Earlier, the Aam Aadmi Party and the state government were the same. Now it's going to be, Delhi is actually a triple engine ki sarkar. Because MCD is so important, municipal corporation is so important in many of the functions that it has to carry out, particularly in Delhi specifically. So you will have a pitched battle now between the BJP, which will probably be the government in the state, the BJP, which will be the government in the center, of course, and the MCD, which is enjoined with the responsibility of running the day-to-day, kachra and all those kind of things in the MCD.
Ms. Fadnis, you had touched upon this earlier. I just wanted you to elaborate a little further. The constant bickering that Delhi has seen between the centre and the state. How much do you feel that has also affected the mindsets of the voters here, that let there just be one party, if at all? Do you think they have thought in that respect?
Absolutely. Certainly the middle class people who are witness to this every single day find this very, they become weary of this, they become tired of this. And it is a very difficult thing, because if the MCD's objectives, the state government's objectives and the central government's objectives are all in 3 different directions, then nobody can really work properly, even if you have the most brilliant ideas of administration. So it's really sad, but yeah, I think that in the days to come, the BJP, I'm pretty sure, could dissolve the MCD or rehold the election after the assembly election. That is the plan, I believe.
And ma'am, look at those figures: 49 for BJP, 20 for AAP. That gap has only increased. It has been increasing. It's more than doubled. Even if this is round 1, round 2, round 3, eventually they will conclude
Shivan,
to the final figure.
It's round 1, round 2, but it's difficult to see the Aam Aadmi Party clawing its way back.
Yeah,
because
from 20 to 49.
If it had to do that, then you would have seen the numbers going up and down. The numbers are not going up and down. The numbers are going in one clear direction, which is in the direction of the BJP. 49 seats for the BJP, where it is leading. 20 for the Aam Aadmi Party. That is more than 2.5 times. That's 2.5 times the number of seats that the Aam Aadmi Party has got. It's difficult to see the Aam Aadmi Party, making its way back. But also consider the fact some of their big heavyweight leaders Arvind Kejriwal, he's trailing. Manish Sisodia, he's trailing.
Awadh Oja.
Atishi, she's trailing.
Awadh Oja was going to be the star campaigner. He's trailing as well.
He was brought in, that star UPSC teacher,
Coaching
someone who was
teacher,
extremely
Motivational
popular
speaker.
on social media, someone who
trailing in
connected
Patna
with the youth, and he is trailing. Some of the biggest faces of the Aam Aadmi Party seem to be, clearly
Arvind
on
Kejriwal
the verge of probably not winning. Saurabh Bharadwaj, interestingly, he is leading in the seat of Greater Kailash. That's going to be some bit of relief for them. Parvesh Singh Verma, the son of the former Chief Minister of Delhi, Sahib Singh Verma, he is leading. He's beating Arvind Kejriwal. He's the giant killer in this contest. Because remember, for Arvind Kejriwal to lose from his seat, it's going to be a huge loss of prestige. It is going to affect his standing inside of the party, because he is no longer going to be a leader who can win elections just on the basis of his persona. Ms. Fadnis, how do you think, if he were to end up losing in his very seat, is going to affect the political fortunes of Arvind Kejriwal?
It's hard to say at this point. His obviously his political fortunes are not in a very sweet spot as it is, and he may have to return to prison.
Right.
Depending on how things pan out. But the fact is that this is the same Aam Aadmi Party which got 62 seats and then 67 seats. BJP has, as far as I can tell, has not yet reached that mark.
Right.
So it's not that all the capital of the Aam Aadmi Party has been totally destroyed. It's still there, very much there. But at the same time, Arvind Kejriwal's personal standing has been badly eroded. That's what you can tell.
There's another figure coming up, Saleh. BJP's Kapil Mishra is leading in Karawal Nagar by 6,470 votes after 2 rounds of voting. These are phenomenal figures which seem to only be favoring the BJP. Round 2 is on at this point, and again that gap, as you see, between 48 and 21 is seeming extremely putting Aam Aadmi Party at a disadvantage. Ms. Fadnis, I wanted to quickly come to you on this as well. Do you feel there has been a certain sense of disenchantment in the voters given the entire political scenario in Delhi, which eventually affected the voter turnout, and how much of the voter turnout would have affected the result?
Voter turnout has nothing to do with a particular party. Voter turnout is a secular sort of figure, and it would be wrong. A lot of research has been done on this, and it would be wrong to say that a low voter turnout favors X party or a high voter turnout favors Y party. That's not there's no evidence for that. That said, Arvind Kejriwal has had a setback. There's no doubt about this. The results tell us that. What should the Aam Aadmi Party do now? There were many who told Arvind Kejriwal in 2013, when he presided over the 49-day government, where he was a minority partner, that he should resign.
Right.
And he did resign, and the result was dramatic after that. In that election, after a spell of president's rule, the Aam Aadmi Party got 62 seats, and in the subsequent election, it got 67 seats, which is stupendous by any stretch of imagination. So, in this election too, if Kejriwal had said, I am withdrawing from power politics, I continue to lead Aam Aadmi Party, but I will never be Chief Minister again, and I will let other people do it.
No, but do you think that could have changed the fortunes of this election? Because quite literally, what was happening was, the allegations that the BJP was leveling against, Arvind Kejriwal, that seemed to stick against him. The fact that he renovated his house, which was called the Sheesh Mahal. He was no longer the Aam Aadmi who was becoming the Chief Minister. He was no longer the guy who was traveling in a Wagoner. His image had taken a bit of a beating. The BJP was effectively able to beat home the image that, listen, he claims that he's an Aam Aadmi Party leader, that he's an Aam Aadmi one amongst you, but he is not one of you, and that seems to have stuck.
So that's exactly what I'm saying, that if he had announced at that point that he is not interested in power, which is what he did, when he started his political career, he is interested in delivering, administering, but he's not interested in power. people would have resonated with that.
Do you
People
think,
would have forgiven many of the mistakes that
know,
the Aam Aadmi Party has made.
do you think, looking at, we'll of course have to wait and watch for the final vote share to come out, but do you think the Aam Aadmi Party should have been a little bit more strategic in fighting this election? If they had allied themselves with the Congress, then the fact that the Congress has been able to eat so much into the vote share of the Aam Aadmi Party may not have happened. And that would have translated pretty dramatically in terms of the seats. Because what has quite clearly happened is the Congress seems to have gone up in terms of its vote share, which has clawed away the vote share of the Aam Aadmi Party. And that, when you count the number of seats, has a dramatic impact in terms of the numbers. Do you think this was the hubris of the Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal, which seems to be in their undoing?
It's possible. Aam Aadmi Party has taken away a lot of the Congress vote. In such a situation, if you were in the Congress, what would you do? Just, you know, lie back, wave your legs in the air and say, okay, I'm done. My party does not exist anymore. I'm handing over whatever I have to Arvind Kejriwal. I don't think that's possible for a political party to do. At the same time, there is no doubt that if there had been some kind of an understanding between Aam Aadmi and Congress, in terms of vote share, it might have had some another effect. But then Aam Aadmi Party would have compromised with its fundamental principle, which is that Congress and BJP both are bad for us. So the question is, how do you develop a strategic understanding? How do you fight an election where you are fighting for the same vote share?
Ms. Parvesh, if I can interject there, where you said that Aam Aadmi Party would have compromised on its own philosophy, where it says that, listen, both the BJP and the Congress are bad for us. By not allying itself with the Congress, it is effectively, some would say, given this election to the BJP because of its non-strategic functioning. Because the people of Delhi no longer view the Aam Aadmi Party as an outsider. They view this as one of the three entities which could potentially come in power. And now, because the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party are looking at the same, vote demographic and the same kind of voters, that has resulted in their votes getting divided. And therefore, neither of the parties can form the government. And the BJP, which has managed to keep its vote share intact, has just, sprung a huge surprise.
Well, at the time when the Aam Aadmi Party got 62 votes, 62 seats, and at the time when it got 67 seats, it did not get those seats because it prevented the division of votes. It got those seats because it stood for something and it fought on those issues. So, I'm not sure if division of votes alone would have resulted in a different outcome. I mean, theoretically, yes, you are right that if the Congress and AAP vote had not been divided, the BJP might not have been in as sweet a spot as it is today. But in the past, the Aam Aadmi,
they say perceptions matter, and 10 years, it may be a short time, but in politics, 10 years is an eternity. And the perception of the Aam Aadmi Party, which the Aam Aadmi had, is very different from the perception that the Aam Aadmi Party has of the leaders there. The allegations of the liquor policy scam, the fact that the leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party, some people started to see, were no different from the leaders of the BJP or the Congress probably started to see. The fact that there was a dictatorial way of running the Aam Aadmi Party also was its own undoing.
The thing is that, and this is what is discomfiting, that lack of democracy in Aam Aadmi Party was the reason why there was a big split between the India Against Corruption movement and the Aam Aadmi Party, and so many people left the Aam Aadmi Party. But that factor is not apparently a factor among voters.
Right.
So, what does that mean? Does it mean that Arvind Kejriwal...
at this moment, let me just get my producer to put that graphic back in terms of the voter turnout. When you look at the voter turnout, when the Aam Aadmi Party won in 2013, 65%. In 2015, when they stormed to power, 67%. In 2020, it was 64%. But this time round, the voter turnout was about 60.42. Do you think the committed voters of the Aam Aadmi Party, people who wanted the Aam Aadmi Party to come to power, were disenchanted with the workings of the Aam Aadmi Party in the last 10 years, and therefore they decided to just stay back home?
It's hard to say whether the Aam Aadmi Party lost because its voters didn't turn up or because its voters rejected them. It's very hard to say that. I mean, as I said earlier, research...
but these numbers, could point to a story here, because these are very clear indicators that there is a dip, but almost about 5% when you look at when the Aam Aadmi Party won and when the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be on a decline. This is a 5% vote share which is not even shown up at the polling stations.
Well, with respect, I would like to disagree. I don't know if you can derive from a lower turnout that only the Aam Aadmi Party suffered. It's possible that the Congress also suffered because of that.
No, the reason why I say this is because the BJP, because of its well-oiled machinery of reaching to the very last voter, ensuring that at every booth, everyone who's there on the voter list turns out to vote. The BJP does this better than every other party in Indian politics at the moment, which is where you would expect that the BJP voter has walked up to the polling station, cast his vote, but the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress perhaps have been a little bit slack, and they may not have had the voters who may have voted for them. That was the point that I was making.
It's, as I said, it's very difficult to derive from the turnout in whose favor it has gone,
right,
or whose voter has sat at home. It's possible that the Aam Aadmi Party voter has sat at home and not voted for either the Congress or the Aam Aadmi Party and does not want to vote for the BJP.
Right.
It's equally possible that larger numbers of anti-BJP voters have come out, which has resulted in a counter consolidation by those who, who are supporting the BJP.